Hello guys, in this tutorial I want to talk about another web application vulnerability which hackers can abuse. From that vulnerability to account takeover, and the name of this vulnerability called uh, reset account takeover via reset password functionality. That's the vulnerability which exists in the reset password functionality, and hackers can use it to take over their victim account. Okay, first I want to explain a little bit how it is really work. If you are going to go and sign up in some different websites, definitely you will see an option in a sign up button or in a sign in button with the name of reset password or uh, don't know password or recovery password or something like that. And these options, these are really good options which users whenever users don't whenever user forget their password, they can reset their password easily by using these options which exist these days exist in the 99% of the website. But how they really can help users to reset their password? Mostly this reset password functionality work with the email address. And how does it really work? User is just going to say okay, reset password. After reset password, it will say web server will ask for email to reset password to for email or username of that account to reset the password of that account. And user or hackers will write his username, for example arshia dev or arshia.heravi5 blah blah blah. Okay, and after that the web server is just going to send certain link to this email to make sure if this email is really belong to the user or hacker or whatever. And it's just going to send the link, send the certain send the reset password link which contain a token inside that into email of user. And if user press on that link it's just going to redirect user to another page to basically reset the password of user. But I have a question. How really hackers can abuse from this vulnerability to account take over their victim account? Imagine that I have your email already, and your email is arshia. I don't have, sorry, imagine that I don't have your email. I have your email, I have your exactly your email, but I don't have access to your email account. And your email is arshia.heravi5@gmail.com. This is your email, and hackers have your email. But however, whenever I have your email but I don't have access to your email account, I cannot basically reset your password in a certain website which you use this email, because I have to have a 100% access to your whole of your email. That means have the username and password of your email, which I don't have. But how hackers can press that reset password link to reset the password of that website? Hackers in this moment need to guess the reset password link. What the question is gonna be like that: how hackers can guess the reset password link? What they're going to do mostly, they're going to create a one account, two account, and three account, or three account, and they're going to do the reset password, use the reset password option for three of those accounts, and see all with the three different email, and see all of the reset password link which generated by web server, and send into those three email. And hackers will just focus focus on the structure of those reset password links. For example, the first reset password is gonna be like that: example.com reset token equal example.com arshad dev, because we wanna reset the password of arshad dev. For example, slash token equal I'm going to go to base char, for example. I'm going to say arshad dev encode. Okay, I'm going to say, sorry, where is the encoder? Base char encoder. Okay, this is encode arshad dev encode, and the encode version of arshad dev is gonna be this, and imagine that the token is gonna be that. Okay, it's gonna be that. Or for example, imagine that this is arshia or arshad dev, or for example reset, only reset under my password. The first token which will send to the first account is gonna be this. The second one is gonna be, for example, this arshad dev 2. Is gonna be this, and the last one is gonna be arshad dev 3. It's gonna be this. Okay, is it 3? Is it really different? Yeah, 3. So the first reset password which will send to the first account is gonna be this, and the second one is gonna be this, and the last one is gonna be this. So hackers will just focus on these three different reset password link and their tokens as well, and hackers will see, okay, example.com reset password, all of these parameters are same, so I can guess, simply I can guess from here to here, but I cannot guess the token. So hackers need to find out how really web server generate this token. So they will simply think, okay, we need to find out how web server generate this token, and this token came from what value exactly and what strings exactly. Whenever hackers find out how and what's the functionality of the website, then hackers can find the vulnerability and take over their victim accounts. Because whenever I know the functionality of the website, I can just simply broke it. That's why if you want to be a bug bounty hunter, before everything you gotta know how to develop a simple website, because it's really gonna help you. Okay, what hackers is gonna do? For example, I just use the base chart to do that because it's so easier. And these days, to be honest, some websites use the weakest option for their cryptography, for their to generate a token, and this weak this weak encryption is base 64. Yeah, sorry, I told base 64. Base 64 is Persian, because sometimes I'm gonna combine Persian and English together. Sorry, base 64. So but it is not really secure option to generate the token, because as we know it's completely guessable, and hackers can easily copy this and paste it here and decode this, and hacker will get the real value of the token so easily. If I'm going to have your username, for example, imagine that I have the username of victim, and I know, or my friend, for example, the name of my friend is Puria, and the name of Puria, and I know Puria with exactly Puria Dev, for example, with this username has account in a certain website, and in that website token will generate by base 64. So I have his simply I have his username, right? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy his username, and I'm going to simply encode his username, and I'm going to encode it and copy it here. So simply right now I just guessed the reset password link. I just guessed the reset password link of Puria. So simply I can just click on the reset password link which I guess it by myself. So just simply reset the password of the Puria account, because I simply just guess it, and because I know how that website work and what's the functionality of that website to generate a token. So it's really easy. But my purpose was about another thing. My purpose was about how we can use ChatGPT to make sure which encryption methods can programmers use to help and avoid from hackers. First, avoid from hackers, help themselves, and avoid from hackers to exploit this vulnerability. Okay, so the main issue of this vulnerability was about generating that token, and to generate the token or reset password token, the value of the token need to be secure enough, and hackers secure enough so hackers ain't be able to, or won't be able to guess it. So how? If I'm going to use a base 64, it's completely guessable. If I'm going to use MD5, I'm going to ask from ChatGPT, do you think if I am going to if I am going to use a MD5 encryption to generate a reset password token, it's going to be secure or not? Let's ask from ChatGPT, because I want to see the answer of ChatGPT. I thought, do you think if I'm going to use a MD5 encryption to generate a reset password token, it's gonna be secure or not? No, MD5 is not secure method for generating password reset tokens, or for any other use case where security is concerned. MD5 has known vulnerability and can be easily broken using brute force or collision attacks, which I really don't know what is that. It is recommended to use stronger hash functions such as this one, to use. Okay, I'm not going to keep continue because I know the answer. So now I got this answer. MD5, it's not a good way to encrypt. It's not a good way to encrypt. It's not a good encryption to use it for to use it to generate a reset password token. Why? Let me to explain it better for you guys. Okay, I'm going to say MD5. I'm going to write MD5 generator here. Open it. If I'm going to write Arshad Dev here, I get the MD5 hash here. Okay, if I'm going to copy it, the good thing about MD5 is that MD5 is not like a base 64, and hackers cannot guess it. Like, hackers cannot decode it. Hackers cannot just reverse the value of MD5  5 encryption method. Hackers cannot reverse that. Hackers cannot just reverse the value of MD5 encryption method. Hackers cannot just reverse the value of MD5 encryption method. Hackers cannot reverse that. Hackers cannot just reverse the value of MD5 encryption method. Hackers cannot reverse that. But hackers simply can put the thousands or millions of password lists and generate to those password lists those passwords to MD5 and compare those final MD5 with this MD5 to make sure if this MD5 is going to be equal with those values. But I know it's a lot better than base 64, because in base 64 hackers don't need to do that, don't need to brute force, don't need to crack nothing, don't need to put the word list, don't need to do nothing. Hackers just need to copy this and go and decrypt it. But for the MD5, hackers cannot decrypt that. Hackers need to, it's not like the way like a base 64 to decrypt it. Hackers need to use a brute force method to put the large word list and crack it, crack the encryption. So however, it's a lot better than base 64. So now I'm gonna say MD5 is gonna be better than base 64, but still it is not secure, because as I told you, hackers can guess it, still can guess it. In a base 64 it just takes one second to guess it, because they're not going to guess it, they're going to decode it and they will get their answer. But in MD5 they need to guess it, but still hackers can find that, still hackers can find out. So I'm going to ask from ChatGPT which encryption are the most powerful way to generate, or the most not powerful, secure way to generate a reset password token. Which encryption are the most secure way to generate a reset password token? So as I know, MD5 is not a good idea, base 64 definitely it's not a good idea. So which encryption can be the good idea? The most secure way to generate a password reset token is to use a cryptography primitive specially designed for blah blah blah, such as random number generator, like salt, cryptographic hash function, and blah blah blah. Bcrypt is the first one. Bcrypt, it's slow and compute. Okay, I don't know this word to be honest because of my English skill. Keep that designed to make it difficult to perform a boost. Okay, I know why. It just give us 4 different options, and ChatGPT told us, okay, these encryption methods are going to be the most secure way to generate a token, because I know why. Because for example, for MD5 hackers can crack it because there is no salt. We have something with the name of salt. What is that? In MD5, if I'm going to generate the Arshad dev to MD5, I will get this value. And if I'm going to go to another go to another website and generate the Arshad dev again to MD5, I'm going to get the same value. But for the bcrypt, it's not like that. If I'm going to put Arshad dev right now in the bcrypt generator, I'm going to get a one value, and if I'm going to do it again, I'm going to get another value, because bcrypt is not going to give you the same value. And it's kind of weird, because you're going to put the same string, but you're going to get the different value of the encryption. And it's kind of weird, because I know the reason of that, because bcrypt will use a salt. Because bcrypt, if you're going to use it, like I'm going to tell, because maybe you are going to understand a little bit more. Can you use a bcrypt with Python to generate a reset password token? I'm going to explain you in the code, because it's gonna be a lot more easier for you guys to understand it better. But I'm saying, like, okay, let me show you. Bcrypt hash generator. Just check it out. My string is gonna be archdiv. Just check it out. Okay, let me go down. Okay, my so archdiv equal my string is gonna be archdiv encrypt. Okay, encrypt it's going to be the bcrypt result, bcrypt value results. Right now I'm going to write archdiv again and go back and then write archdiv again encrypt and copy it here. Just see, I just get the another result, and that's kind of weird because as you can see that's exactly same string. That's same, that's archdiv and that's archdiv. Both of them are archdiv. But why in the first archdiv bcrypt result we get the another bcrypt value, and the second archdiv bcrypt result we get the another bcrypt value? As you can see, it's like it has a slash, but it doesn't have a slash. Here we have F, but it has G, so it's completely different. But the original or the main string is archdiv still, but the encryption value is different because it just uses salt, and the salt it's like a random. It's just going to change and change and change and combine. It's kind of random. Okay, I cannot, to be honest, explain like awesome because of my English skill, but I'm just trying. Look at this. With the Python script, you just import bcrypt, define a function with the name of generate reset password token salt. As you can see, it's salt. bcrypt.gen salt. Okay, it just gonna explain here. In this example, bcrypt.gen salt is used to generate a new salt for each password, and bcrypt.hashpw is used to hash the password and salt together. As you can see, it just used bcrypt.gen salt to generate the salt and put it in the salt variable, and use that salt here you go, use that salt and hash pw, the combination of that salt and hash pw to just generate the main string to the bcrypt value. But as we know, the salt is going to be different because the salt because the program is just going to get the different salt, because the salt is just going to generate with a random module. It's like with a random value. For example, right now you will get the salt 2, for example. It's a just example. For example, the salt for the first one, the salt is, for example, this, but for the second one, the salt is this, for example. As you can see, the salt are different because it's just going to get the salt kind of random. It's completely random between the large group of numbers and words and everything. That's why the final value of the bcrypt with the same string is gonna be different, because yeah, it's still the same string, but the salt always gonna change, always. If I'm going to write again archdiv and encrypt it and copy it here, as you can see, we just get another value. It's another value, but it's still archdiv. It's still archdiv, and it's still archdiv, but we just get another value. The only reason of that is because of salt, because to encrypt the archdiv with the bcrypt encryption method, the bcrypt encryption method will use a salt, and that salt it's completely random value. That's why hackers won't be able to crack it, brute force it, or guess it, because it's always wrong, it's always changed, it's always random. Even if they have it, imagine that I'm going to have your username, and I know, just imagine something. I know the functionality, I know something. I know the web server is just going to use a bcrypt encryption to generate a reset password token. and I know your username is ashadef, but still I'm not going to get your first bcrypt token. I'm not going to get your first token because it's impossible. Because when the web server is just going to generate the first token with the first username with the bcrypt encryption method, it will use this salt. But when hackers wanna use the username of victim and bcrypt encryption method, it will get this salt, and the salt is completely random. So even if hacker is just going to find out the functionality of the website, it's just going to find out the functionality, it's just using bcrypt and the username of victim of, so hackers will understand the username of their victim and the functionality of website. Hackers after that still won't be able to get the reset password token, because reset password token are going to be different always, because salt always are going to get like randomly. That's why bcryption, that's why generating a token use a bcrypt encryption. It's the best way to avoid from account takeover via reset password functionality. And I was just trying to, you know, trying my best. I just tried my best to show you and explain to you and demonstrate to you and prove you why you don't need to use the MD5. You just need to use a bcrypt or script, and the script is same as bcrypt. It will use a salt. It will use a salt. It will use a salt. Four of them it will use a salt. So it's like that. Uh, it's completely like that. And only things I want to say about like that. So programmers, in this tutorial I just teach programmers, if they wanna perform the reset password functionality in their website, please, for cryptography and for encryption, please just don't use the base 64, because it's the easiest way for hackers. They're just going to be able to decrypt it in a 1 second. And don't use MD5, because hackers will be able to brute force the token. Please use one of these encryption and one of these cryptographic hash functions. So that's it. I hope you love this tutorial, and I'm just, to be honest, trying my best to show you, and explain to you logically uh, how it really works, and how hackers think, and how programmers need to think. Okay guys, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel, like this video, and be creative as always. See you later.